Allan Watts. I'm not sure what he does. I'm not sure if he's a psychologist or he's sort of like a philosopher. He says lots of nice stuff. But yeah, well, I've got this video after school. It's Allan Watts talking. It's called "What Happens When You Only Pursue a Pleasure." I have watched this, but it was a few years ago, probably over 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So yeah, I want to rewatch it with you guys right now. So yeah, let's get into this. Allan Watts, very smart guy. I mean, just an idea, but nah, not Insta Reels. I'm not gonna do that. Let's check this out.
Is a deeper question altogether, which is, what do you desire? What makes you itch?
Everyone listen.
What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose, I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object?
Dang, what do I want?
How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I say, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do?
What do I want?
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid.
Bruh. That's hard. No, I feel like, what do I want to do? Streaming. I mean, I don't get paid now. But yeah. I mean, yeah, this would be so good, like, trying to, like, you know, spread my message. I think I'm a good influence for the world. I think I'm a good influence. Like, you know, if I got a platform, I'll do good with it. If you guys, if the internet allows me to have a platform, I won't waste it, you know. I quit smoking, so motivating. Yeah. But yeah, just having like friends, you know, obviously family. What's the important things? Things that like that doesn't matter about money. Just doing things you enjoy. I just being creative. I'm a very creative person. That's part of the reason I like streaming and making YouTube videos. Got lots of ideas. So yeah, probably just something creative, always changing, you know.
Time. You'll be doing things.
That's what I would like to do with my life, and spreading a good message, trying to change the world, make it like that much better, you know.
You don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
That's facts. That's facts. Better to have a short life full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. Because, yeah, what's the point of living a long life if you hate it, bro? It's better to have short but sweet. You know? Short, you know? Good boy. I try.
And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually turn it, you could eventually become a master of it.
Yes.
It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is.
Bro, that's why I suck at every video game, pretty much. Because I'm not just a one game guy. I play all different. That's why I'm not the best at any game I play. I play too many.
So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others who are. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on spending things you don't like, doing things you don't like, and to teach your children to follow in the same track. See, what we're doing is we're bringing
Same.
up children and educating them to live the same sort of lives we're living, in order that they...
Hey, that's well, not really in my case, like with my parents, but yeah, there's lots of people. But like, I just see stuff like, you know, all these people, like even today, they're still working. Like tradies example, like carpenter, plumbers. They've been doing this, like they dropped out when they were a kid back in the 80s or 70s, when they're like 16. They dropped out, started working, and now they're in their 60s and they're still doing the same job, bro. That's my worst nightmare. That's my worst nightmare. And like, you know, even some people like these days, they drop out or like they finish high school and they get into a trade, and then what? Are you just gonna keep doing that same thing? I mean, if you like doing it, yeah, there's no problem with that. But if you don't, like, what are you gonna do? Like, how many years are you gonna spend doing it? You know? But like, the thing is, the problem is, lots of people don't have a plan, and then they just keep living day by day doing the same job, and then next minute they're on their deathbed and they're like, "Dang, I did all that, just the same work. I didn't even like it. I don't want to end up like that." So yeah, I gotta really lock in so I can do what I want.
They may justify themselves and find satisfaction in life by bringing up their children, to bring up their children to do the same thing, so it's all retch and no vomit. It never gets there. And so,
Same with you.
therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire? Well, when we answer that question in a naive way, we figure out that we want to desire, what we want is to control everything. To create girls that don't grow old, apples that don't rot, clothes that never wear out, conveyances that get from one place to another instantly so we don't have to wait, power available to do anything that you could conceive and do it just instantly like that. To get this funny technological omnipotence. But if you take time out to think about that and really go into it with your full strength of imagination and find out whether that's where you want to be, you will soon see that's not what you want. Because the moment you have a situation where you are really in control of things, that is to say, in which the future is almost completely predictable, you will see, as I said last night, that a completely predictable future is already the past. You've had it.
Rah. Hey, it's the past because you already know what's gonna happen. That's why life is so good, bro. You never know what's gonna happen. You know, you have the bad days, but you having the bad days make the good days that much better. You know, every day is good. If every day is a good day, there's no such thing as good day, because you need good with bad, bro. And yeah, that's why it's like, you know, I hear stuff about like millionaires, bro. They got millions, they can do whatever they want, but their best memories were when they were broke or homeless, because they, you know, it's a journey. They don't know what's gonna happen, you know. But then they're at the top, lots of the time. Like, what do they? They don't need to lift their finger up for the rest of their lives. They've got everything, and that's why they get sad. Lots.
That's not what you wanted. You want a surprise. And you don't know what that's going to be, because obviously it wouldn't be a surprise if you did. You want a pleasant surprise. But like you say, what sort of a surprise would be pleasant? And you can't really answer that.
Yeah, feel better.
Because you know, if there are to be such things as pleasant surprises, there must also be unpleasant surprises.
Yes, that's what I was
rude
saying.
Shocks. So you're like somebody taking one of those wishing well boxes, you know, tubs, you know, where you fish in and you bring out a package. And you don't know whether you've got a dead rat in it or a new camera. And that's the way, that seems to be the thing that really excites people. But quite certainly there comes out of this inquiry a feeling of real disillusionment with the ideal of power. To be in power, to be in control, is not something that any sensible person wants. Now, you may say that's shirking responsibility. That if you were a really responsible person, you would go out for power and try to use power to the best possible advantage for the benefit of all. All right, what would be the benefit of all? Ask them. What do you want me to do with this power? I'm dictator. What would you like me to do?
There's no such thing as benefit for all, because you know, everyone wants something else, you know? You might think you would do the best thing, but then there's always going to be someone that doesn't agree with it or doesn't like what you do, you know? There's no such thing.
Well, nobody knows, because they haven't thought it through. They think of all sorts of short-range things, and they are largely conflicting and confusing, because they're not well thought out. But again, when it finally comes down to it, nobody wants to be God. Now,
he said nobody wants to be God, like have all the power. But the thing is, there are people that do, but they're not right up here. They're like psycho, you know? They don't got all they don't have a full deck of cards.
I think that this is the greatest possible lesson for the Western world to learn, because we are so hung up on the idea of power, of control, of being able to make everything go the right way, and we've never thought it through. When you get control of it, what are you going to do with it? And so when you think things through like that, you understand you do not want power. You don't want to control everything. And therefore, in the exploration of what you want, you get to the point where having all pleasures at your command, and they pall, and you think of new sources of pleasure. And eventually you get like the ancient Romans, who had all these mad crowds of barbarians who had to go every Saturday to the Colosseum for a show that really had to surpass everything, because they had public baths, they had prostitutes, they had every kind of luxury. But when they went to see one of the big shows that people like Nero put on, they would have, for example, floats circling the Colosseum, all full of slave girls from distant parts of the Mediterranean, garlanded with flowers and waving at the crowd and going innocently around. And the next minute they would release wild lions into the arena to eat up all the slave girls. They got a big sadistic kick out of that. Because you see, pursuing pleasure beyond a certain place takes you into what the Buddhists call the Naraka world. That is to say, the hells.
Dan Murphy's has great
Oh
value.
my
Like
god.
Weeknight
Are
Minds.
you serious? Bro, I gotta get YouTube Premium. But yeah, he's just talking about power. It just, with the Romans, it just turns to crap. They start just murdering people for the fun of it, because they can do it, you know? Okay, let's go back.
To what the Buddhists call the Naraka world. That is to say, the hells. When you have explored pleasure to its ultimate limit, the only thing you can get a kick out of is pain. And so naturally, you descend.
Bro! When you experience pleasure to the full limit, the only thing you can get a kick out of is pain. And that's why they liked getting all these poor girls from other parts of the Mediterranean and watching them get eaten by lions alive.
From the Deva world at the top of the wheel to the Naraka world at the bottom, where it shows all these beings in states of torture.
Bro, now that I think of it, it's like when you look at all these poor countries or poor people, you know? They're so wholesome, you know? They're so nice. There's, like you see docos or just videos of people going to third world countries, or like parts of the world where it's pretty rough. They're such the nicest people, but then you see these rich people doing this, like like, and in like example Epstein's Island, they're rich, and then you know that's when they do the bad evil stuff, bro, because they've got everything else, and that's the only thing they haven't done to get some entertainment. They do that bad stuff.
You get to the hell world as a result of not knowing what you want. As a result of thoughtless pursuit of pleasure, which ends you eventually in the pursuit of pain. So when you're in the hell world, that's where you want to be. So when I ask, I go right down to the question, should we start with, what do I want? The answer is, I don't know. When Bodhidharma was asked, who are you, which is another form of the same question, he said, I don't know, planting flowers to which the butterflies come. Bodhidharma says, I know not. I don't know what I want. Well, when you don't know what you want, you've reached the state of desirelessness. When you really don't know. But you see, there's a beginning stage of not knowing, and there's an ending stage of not knowing. In the beginning stage, you don't know what you want because you haven't thought about it, or you've only thought superficially. And then when somebody forces you to think about it and go through and say, yeah, I think I'd like this, I think I'd like that, I think I'd like the other, that's the middle stage. Then you get beyond that. Say, is that what I really want? In the end you say, no, I don't think that's it. I might be satisfied with it for a while, and I wouldn't turn my nose up at it, but it's not really what I want. Why don't you really know what you want? 2 reasons.
What are the reasons?
That you don't really know what you want. Number 1, you have it.
You have it.
Number 2, you don't know yourself, because you never can. The Godhead is never an object of its own knowledge. Just as a knife doesn't cut itself, fire doesn't burn itself, light doesn't illumine itself. It's always an endless mystery to itself. I don't know. And this I don't know, uttered in the infinite interior of the spirit, this I don't know is the same thing as I love, I let go, I don't try to force or control.
It's the same as I love.
It's the same thing as humility. Any time you, as it were, voluntarily let up control, in other words, cease to cling to yourself, you have an access of power. Because you're wasting energy all the time in self-defense, trying to manage things, trying to force things to conform to your will. The moment you stop doing that, that wasted energy is available. And therefore, you are, in that sense, having that energy available, you are one with the divine principle. You have the energy. When you're trying, however, to act as if you were God, that is to say, you don't trust anybody and you're the dictator and you have to keep everybody in line, you lose the divine energy. Because what...
Hey, you just gotta let go sometimes. Like, yeah, just don't waste your energy focusing on things, especially things that you can't control. Like, it might be good or bad, but don't worry about what's gonna happen, because don't think about it too much, because you've got no control over it. And I feel like I do that a lot. I like worry about things I've got no control over, when that's just a waste of energy and time.
What you're doing is simply defending yourself. So then, the principle is, the more you give it away, the more it comes back.
Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, but check this channel out. And check out some other stuff that Allan Watts talks about. He's great. Allan Watts. Very smart. Very wise man. Very wise man.